Mikel Arteta, Arsenal, the Gunners. Oh my God. Gunners facing that humiliation from Manchester United and United down to 10 men. Just unfolded this game with a win after those penalties. Oh my God. Mikel Arteta, if you talk about him, miseries for him. And yes, two of the penalties missed. It was Odegaard missing that. It was Havertz missing that. Havertz has just won the fans of Manchester United as well as Odegaard has won the fans of Manchester United in their favor, because let us take a look at Manchester United, who are just defeating Arsenal in this FA Cup round 3, and prior to this it was against Liverpool at Anfield. They played so good, they were so close to victory as well against Liverpool in the previous game. Ruben Amorim and his men are showing some characters. But to talk about it, if you say about Liverpool, Liverpool plays that good in the first half of the season most of the times. For the past 25 years I have seen this. And yes, Manchester United in the last 5 to 10 years I have seen that in the first half of the season they struggle, and in the second half of the season, if the manager has been changed or sacked, a new manager has been appointed or not, they do some of the outclass performances in the second half of the season. And it was in the Premier League against Liverpool they did so good, and in the FA Cup round 3 they did it so good against Arsenal. Even the FA Cup matches where the next round of the matches have been drawn, it is Aston Villa and Tottenham who are going to get those. It is Rude Van Nistelrooy, Leicester against the likes of Manchester United are also going to face. Rude Van Nistelrooy, if you talk about him, he is having those detailed all analysis of Manchester United because he managed this team just a few months back and he moved to Leicester. But in this game, just have a look of these stats, which reveals more than it was 26 shots, which Arsenal had, everything was denied. And yes, Manchester United with just 7 shots, 2 big chances, just managed to get this victory. But how? Because in this lineup, it was Bindy, the man. If you talk about this Turkish man at Manchester United, what a class performance he had. He had so many saves in the starting lineup. If the likes of De Ligt, Maguire and Martinez played good, but of the 3 centre backs, if you talk about, it was Maguire who is now rising high. I have seen many people making fun of Harry Maguire at times, but to my consent, Harry Maguire is one of the best centre backs in the world if he is going to play with this 3 centre back formation which Ruben Amorim is implementing at United. And United playing this formation after those 2021 and 22 season, it is now they are sticking to it and they are really doing good. But this character is definitely need to be carried more into it. The fluidity in the team from the likes of Mazzarri as well as Dalot was not that good. And yes, Dalot getting those red cards, just look at it. Manchester United were down to 10 men. But it was Holland, Garnacho and Fernandes in the starting lineups, whereas the likes of Arsenal, it was Martinelli, Havertz and Jesus in the forwards as usual. Jesus was dropped down in the 40th minute because of some injuries. And yes, Merino, Jorginho as well as Odegaard in the midfields. Luis Kelly was chosen on the left backs. Gabriel Jesus was there, but Gabriel Jesus got one of those headers which was not expected. He is good at those height aerial duels, but he got that header. It was mesmerizing. And yes, Saliba had a decent performance. Timber on the right back was a bit decent as well. But Samuel Roya losing with the penalties, I won't consider that. The Gunners had some good moments with Raya and he won't be having those good sleep. In fact, he will be having those nightmares in front of him and he will be having to take some dope to have a good sleep. But yes, it was Raheem Sterling making those opportunities. Declan Rice, Trossard was there, he got those opportunities. Thomas Partey was called in. From the likes of Manchester United, it was Diallo, Collier, Ziggy and Malaysia as well as Lenny Yoro. But in this game, starting from it, it was the few yellow cards which United players, Lisandro Martinez and Bruno Fernandes were getting in. And on the substitution of Gabriel Jesus, Raheem Sterling coming in, Arsenal were not looking that lethal from the aspects of Raheem Sterling. But Diogo Dalot getting those yellow cards on the 49th minute, it was that Bruno Fernandes epic curler. Oh my God, Bruno Fernandes is carrying this team time and again, many of the times in the past. And yes, this time he did that curler. It was classic, it was epic, and it has to be framed. This video has to be kept in the memories of the United fans definitely for a long time. Kevin Minu getting those yellow cards, it was quite decent, but Diogo Dalot getting those red cards, it was definitely not the talk of the town to be had, because Dalot doesn't deserve that. But it was a big clash. If you look in the past, for the 20 years, Arsenal and Manchester United, they are the epic rivalries of the Premier League. But now, these subtle performances of both the teams were not looking that good. But Diogo Dalot getting those red cards and United down to 10 men, it was all for Arsenal to pick up those big wins. Gabriel just scoring after those 2 minutes with those headers, it was great. And it was Harry Maguire getting those yellow cards. But the miss of Martin Odegaard, that penalty, Martin Odegaard hasn't ever missed a penalty. It was his first penalty miss of his career. It was all left for Havertz to do something, and suddenly Declan Rice comes in. Mikel Merino just gets that substitution, and from the side of Ruben Amorim making those substitution of Amad Diallo, not bringing him to the first lineup, Collier as well as Ziggy on the 81st minutes. It was a late substitution, but yes, it was looking that Ruben Amorim was fully prepared that he is going to carry this game up to the extra time as well as to the penalties. He did it so good, and it was the late substitutions which Arteta made. Arteta was not even prepared that whether this game is going to the extra time. He was so confident that they are going to bring those victories up to the stoppage time, but it was on the 91st minute he brought in Leonardo Trossard. On the 100th minute it was Thomas Partey, and on the 113th minute it was Tierney. But the penalties which were scored, I mean Zirkzee scoring it good, Bruno Fernandes, Odegaard finally scoring that penalty on the penalty shootout, Amar Diallo doing netting it good, Havertz missed that penalty, that was the setback. Samuel Raya couldn't just have managed to save a single penalty. Leny Yoro even scored a penalty against Samuel Raya. Declan Rice then back-to-back scoring that penalty shootout. Lisandro Martinez scored against Samuel Raya. Can we just believe this? Thomas Partey scoring it, and it was the final Joshua Zirkzee converting it and United winning it big. Mikel Arteta losing in the FA Cup, struggling in the Premier League as well. Because if you look at the Premier League, it is Arsenal at the second spot, but they are 6 points behind Liverpool, and Nottingham Forest at the third. But up to for Manchester United, 13th spot, 20 games played, 6 wins, 5 draws and 9 losses, whereas Arsenal has 20 games, 11 wins, 7 draws and 2 losses. What do you conclude that whether Arsenal is at the top of the table? They are doing good. They are the best team out of United, but United getting Arsenal kicked out from the FA Cup like this is definitely what Ruben is preparing this team for the future. And yes, if Amorim does that, can the likes of Sir Alex Ferguson be compared with him? It is a long season and long story to be told, because Ruben Amorim is just on his second month at United, and he has to go many miles and achieve those laurels to bring Manchester United back to that. The January transfers are definitely going to yield that whether the Ineos are going to make some contributions to Ruben Amorim or not, but Ruben Amorim will definitely not go for those. It will be in the summers we will be having, as per the reports are there. What are your say about this performance of Manchester United against Arsenal? And yes, the Red Giants winning it so good, and the Old Trafford must be rolling high with this success. So yes, all the Manchester United fans, best of luck for this. And yes, the Gunners, the Mikel Arteta, they are the jokers of the Premier League. They are the jokers of the domestic league as well. And it has happened time and again. But Liverpool performing so good, can win their Premier League. Do tell your views about this also. Before ending this, give us those like, share and subscribe. Bye bye guys. Keep going.